The USB arrived with no fanfare. Just a nondescript padded envelope slid through the mail slot of a small radio station in Billings, Montana. The package bore no markings, no fingerprints, no DNA. Just a sticky note inside with 3 words. Subject_X, extraction complete. The station manager, thinking it was part of a publicity stunt, handed the drive to an intern. The intern plugged it into a studio editing computer. What they saw stopped the room cold. It opened with a blank screen, then white text faded in. She doesn't know yet, but she will. The footage began. Grainy, unsteady, filmed from a hidden corner of a ceiling, likely a vent or light fixture. A woman, young, mid-20s, shoulder-length black hair, sits cross-legged on a bed, scrolling her phone. She's wearing headphones. She laughs at something. In the background, a door silently swings open on its own. Then a man's reflection, barely visible in the edge of a bathroom mirror, watches her. Still, patient. He moves back, unnoticed. The video cuts abruptly. Then a second file starts. A night vision clip of the same woman, asleep. The camera zooms in. Her face, the rise and fall of her chest. The quiet room. Then motion. A gloved hand reaches from just beyond frame, brushing her hair from her face. Then darkness. The FBI descended on the radio station within hours. The footage matched the style, audio signature, and metadata of the Claire 2.0 and Hannah Markel videos. But this woman, subject_X, remained unidentified. No missing persons report matched her appearance. No connection to Evan Rhodes. No ties to Julian Crane. She simply existed, suspended in this terrifying new chapter of a digital nightmare. A forensic specialist noted something different in this video. The timestamps were corrupted, deliberately scrambled, which suggested someone was learning, evolving, masking their patterns. That same day, journalist Nathan Kessler received a direct message on his encrypted ProtonMail account. The message had no subject, no body, just a Dropbox link with a passphrase. Ouroboros Reborn. Inside the folder, 143 video files. Surveillance, random women, public parks, grocery stores, changing rooms, all unknowing, all filmed with precision, labeled meticulously. The folders were divided by city: Portland, Seattle, Missoula, and now Billings. At the very bottom, a single file marked, "The Closer Manifest P4. It was a message. A masked figure, standing against a wall of TVs, speaks in a distorted voice. You think this is about one man. You think you can stop what was born in silence. The archive is not a person. It's a movement. I watched you watching me. Now we watch you. She is safe. Subject_X has been liberated. You will see her again. Not in tragedy, but in transformation. Don't look away. The next chapter begins with you." Then the video ends with a split-second flash of GPS coordinates. Scrambled, but decipherable. A remote stretch of woods just outside Butte, Montana. A tactical team deployed within 24 hours. The coordinates led to a dilapidated hunting cabin. No power, no running water. But beneath the floorboards, another storage unit. Inside, a server rack humming quietly, powered by solar panels rigged in the trees above. What the agents found chilled them to the bone. The server was a live feed hub. 10 open video windows. 10 women, all in real time. Bedrooms, bathrooms, cars, gyms, all unaware. And in the corner, an 11th screen, labeled Subject_X, was dark, offline. Attached to the server was a black notebook. Taped to the cover, an eyeball drawn in red ink. Inside, more writings, schematics of camera placements, rotational schedules, even psychological profiles of each subject, fears, routines, habits, relationships. But the final entry was what broke the case wide open. It read, "I was the prototype, but they made me better. Evan gave me the archive. Julian gave me the purpose, but I gave it form. I am the closer, and this is only the beginning." The implication: there was a third figure, someone beyond Evan and Julian, someone who had inherited or expanded the network. But the question now became, who is the closer? While authorities scrambled to trace digital footprints, Claire, now relocated again, received a package of her own. Inside, a mirror, and on the back, written in Sharpie, "Your reflection is not your own." She collapsed upon seeing it. The same mirror from Evan's old apartment. The one he had installed in their bedroom. Somehow it had followed her. Or maybe someone was still watching her. Authorities confirmed it wasn't part of an FBI chain of custody. It had been mailed from a P.O. box in Kansas City, opened under the alias A. Crane. Julian, or the closer. The manhunt turned global. Interpol was notified. Cybercrime units in the UK, Germany, and Australia reported similar cases. Women who reported break-ins, only to find nothing missing. Others who discovered USBs labeled simply, U. Meanwhile, a forensic audio analyst working on the manifest video noticed something buried in the voice distortion. A faint background track. Not static. Not machine noise. Music. A children's lullaby. Ring Around the Rosie. Played backward. When reversed, the analyst isolated 3 whispered words, repeated in rhythm with the chorus. She is next. It was no longer clear if the closer was taunting the FBI or signaling the next subject. Journalist Nathan Kessler became obsessed. He stopped returning calls, locked himself in his home office. His last published piece speculated that the closer wasn't just a person, but an organization, a decentralized, ideological cult of watchers, all linked by a belief that observation equaled control. The day after that article went live, Kessler's home was broken into. Nothing was taken, except for his laptop and his bathroom mirror. He hasn't been seen since. Weeks passed. No new footage. No more USBs. Then, on a quiet Thursday morning, a live feed suddenly activated on a dark web surveillance forum. Thousands watched in horror as a young woman, early 30s, wearing a hospital gown, was seen chained to a steel chair in a room of mirrors. She cried, screamed. No one responded. A distorted voice played over a speaker. She sees now. Don't you? Subject undersearch. And then the lights cut out. The feed died. And across every open browser on the forum, a final message appeared. The video went offline within seconds. But that was long enough. Long enough for screen captures to flood forums. Long enough for one desperate viewer, an ex-cybersecurity analyst named Tasha Mendez, to recognize something familiar. Not in the room, not in the woman, but in the mirrors. More specifically, in the frame style. A pattern of brass etching traced the outer edge. An antique design sold exclusively by a boutique glass company in Savannah, Georgia. A detail so niche that Tasha flagged it instantly. She'd worked for them once. Before the breakdown. Before the black SUV followed her for 3 weeks. Before she disappeared from the system, fake name and all. Now she took a risk. She contacted the FBI. 2 agents met her at a safe house on the outskirts of Charlotte. Her voice trembled. The mirrors aren't decorative. They're directional. Built with embedded micro-lenses for surveillance in one-way glass. You're not looking at her reflection. You're looking through it. And there's only one buyer I know who requested 10 of them. Special order. No shipping label. Just pickup. A man. Tall. Shaved head. Burn scar on the right hand. He called himself Mr. Crane. Julian? The connection was inescapable. But Julian Crane had died in custody. Suicide. Slashed wrists in a secured facility. No sharp objects allowed. Or so they thought. The FBI reopened the autopsy file. What they found was stunning. The body had been cremated before fingerprints were re-verified. The ID was visual, confirmed by a nurse who had only met him once. And the surveillance footage from his final hours? Corrupted. Just static. One agent whispered what the others feared. We buried the wrong man. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, a break came from an unlikely source. Interpol cyber analysts in Berlin flagged an upload to a deep web archive. 42 gigabytes of raw footage. Thousands of hours. surveillance clips, static recordings, labeled by name, time, and location. The file was titled, The Garden. Inside, data connected to 147 women, some going back over a decade. Many had no known connections to each other, but a few overlapped. Claire, Hannah, and subject_X. But it was what they found at the very bottom of the folder that brought seasoned investigators to tears. A live feed, still active. Subject_X, chained, eyes red, lips cracked, speaking directly to the camera. I don't know where I am. I don't know who he is anymore. He talks through the mirrors. I think he was Evan once. Then the lights cut. Again. The theories multiplied. 1. Evan Rhodes never died. He faked his suicide and became the closer. 2. Julian Crane orchestrated everything from the beginning, even Evan's rise and fall. 3. The closer isn't Evan, isn't Julian, but someone new, someone born from the ashes of their crimes. A believer, the most terrifying possibility, all of them are true, that the archive, this vast, decentralized voyeur cult, is not a who, but a what. A belief system, a way of life for people obsessed with watching, owning, controlling. Agent Lisa Norrell, now leading the task force, received a package at her home. No postage, no return address. Inside, a black and white photo. Claire, holding a child. The back read, "You thought it was over. She never told you everything." FBI confirmed. Claire had gone off-grid, supposedly in witness protection, but she hadn't mentioned a child. A deeper investigation revealed she'd given birth 14 months earlier. No father listed, but DNA, quietly pulled from hospital files, revealed a shocking match. Evan Rhodes. He was alive. In a dim motel outside Reno, Claire was found. The child, Lucas, was safe, healthy, but Claire was a shell of herself. Her eyes sunken, her hands trembled constantly. When agents entered the room, she simply said, "I told him no. I told him I'd never raise the boy in the shadows. But he said he'd always find us. That Lucas is part of the archive now." She revealed Evan had come to her once since faking his death. Just once. He didn't touch her, didn't threaten her. He only left her a note. It read, "The perfect couple, the perfect code. He's the key, Claire. You gave birth to the future." DNA from the child was reanalyzed. The results shook the bureau. Lucas's DNA wasn't just human. It had been edited. Mitochondrial sequences were spliced. Certain neural traits enhanced. It was synthetic, designed. The implication? Evan had used Claire as a test subject, a vessel, not just for his twisted obsession, but for something far worse. A generation of watchers, born to inherit the archive. Meanwhile, subject_XS location was triangulated. The feed used a compressed audio codec that bounced off 3 satellite relays. The signal was traced to an underground facility near Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, once a military bunker, now off-grid. A raid was planned, but just 12 hours before it began, the feed changed. Subject_X was no longer restrained. She stood freely in the center of the mirrored room. She spoke directly to the camera. "I understand now. I was never the subject. I was the prototype." She lifted a mirror, smashed it. Inside, a camera, a blinking red light. She smiled, then whispered, "I'm not afraid anymore," and the screen went dark. When the team stormed the facility, they found nothing. No subject_X, no cameras, no mirrors, just an old cot, a child's drawing on the wall, stick figures, one man, one woman, one small boy, and above it scrawled in red crayon, "We see everything now." A fresh USB lay on the cot. Inside, one single file, Claire, rocking Lucas, singing softly, unaware a camera films them from behind the mirror. And then a voice, unmistakably Evan's, says, "To be continued."